A Court of Fairies and Fiction. Akafath Girls Podcast. Hosts Mel and Liv. Season 2, Episode 11, Helion Sex and Book Rex.
Let's dive in. If you want, I can just start talking like I usually do, and you can cut in with your thoughts.
I love it. Okay, we can do that.
Hence my Eris tank top, because I love him. And if anybody says that he needs a redemption, what the fuck does he need a redemption for? He hasn't done anything bad. Fuck off.
I love it.
Hasn't done anything bad canonically.
He really hasn't, though. He's just like a snarky asshole.
He's just snarky.
Is he really, though? Because everybody's a snarky asshole in Akatar. Every character.
Yeah.
They're all like that.
Yeah. I mean, Cassian needs his ego a little bumped down a bit. So I respect her.
What? I mean, the thing that sucks is that, like, Cassian beds every woman that, like, Eris is supposed to, so I get it.
He does? I love that meme. I love that meme where it's like, if I had a nickel for every time someone I was engaged to left me for Cassian, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
I know. I want someone to just like value Eris for once and not.
Girl.
I want
your time is up. Come to the forefront.
Can we see men and women from other courts be valued just as much as men and women from the Night Court? Because they totally are. They are completely equals. I feel like we have like Night Court and then like all the other 6 courts down here because they're all just garbage. And it bothers me just a little bit.
I need fucking Nuon to be his Lady of Autumn. I will riot. Anyway. I'm not gonna go off on Eris and Nuon now.
I know.
I have so much.
I know. We won't
go. Anyways, I said that Lady Autumn and Baron. So them. I said something is very weird with Lady Autumn and Baron because as we know, Lady Autumn was sold to Baron by her parents when she was 20 into the marriage. I said we know that the redheads went over to Midgard in CC3.
Mm-hmm.
What people forget is that Baron is not the redhead, Lady Autumn is. Therefore, it was Lady Autumn's line, not Baron's line. I said that I believe Lady Autumn was sold to Baron because of her fire-wielding powers were stronger. Because, you know, they make a huge thing about the redheads, and how strong Einar's fire was, and how strong Eris's fire is. So Lady Autumn, they even say, like, she comes from a family of very strong fire-wielding nobles, right? So there has to be a reason that Baron specifically wanted her to marry. I said, I think that their families knew this. Obviously, I think that Lady Autumn should have been the original High Lady, but because of how the magic works in Prythian, the land doesn't choose females, it only chooses males. I said, I think that's why Baron wanted her. I think that he is somehow siphoning her magic to, I don't know, continue to be High Lord or to, I forget the word, to like, not match his power, but to like
bump it up a little bit, like to increase his power level,
to kind of be at equal with the other High Lords. I think he's kind of siphoning off Lady Autumn, and I think that's a part of his like control over her. I said she's the powerful one, she's the redhead, she's the line that went into Crescent City, which we now know ended up being Einar Danon's line, the Autumn King. Which would kind of mean that Lady Autumn would have been destined to be an Autumn Queen.
And she's related to Einar.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
It has to be her line. I said, I think her parents and Baron's family have a long history where they have been siphoning off of Lady Autumn's line. I think her parents knew this, which is why they wanted her to be Lady of the Autumn Court, because she couldn't be High Lady. It would also make sense as to why Einar wanted to marry Bryce off to Cormac for more power, because they've been doing that with their females since pretty much the dawn of time, since the females can't rule and only the males can. So Lady Autumn was more powerful than Beren, and they sold her to him into marriage to be his lady, right? Bryce was more powerful than Cormac, and Einar was friends with Morven. So there had to be something there where, like, she would make Cormac more powerful when he became king of Avalon, right? I just thought that was really interesting. I said it's also telling now because we know that Lucien got his fire magic from Lady Autumn and not Beren, because Beren isn't his father. When Feyre says it's his mother's gift, she's his mother's favorite son.
Yeah.
I said this is another reason that I think Lucien is going to be the most powerful, because it's also combined with Helion's magic. And the Starborn symbol is the 8-pointed star, but their other symbol is the sun, aka the biggest star, which is on the Dread Trove mask, and also the sigil of the Day Court, Lucien's father's court. So not only does he have Starborn magic from Helion directly from that line, but he also has fire-wielding magic directly from Lady Autumn.
Isn't that wild?
And I am convinced that Lucien has been hiding his magic, the true force of his magic, kind of like Aelin did when she was Selena, from everybody.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if Beren knew, he would have no need for Lady Autumn, and he would probably just take Lucien back and use him instead. Because not only would that punish Lady Autumn, but it would also punish Helion. Right?
Yeah, you think so?
And
Helion doesn't seem to care that much right now.
Oh, he does.
Does he know even?
He does.
I don't think Helion
about
knows.
Lucien? I don't think he knows about Lucien. But
Yeah.
he knows like Lady Autumn's his mate and stuff.
Oh, yes. Yep.
I said, we know that Helion was not High Lord when they met at the Equinox Ball. He didn't become a High Lord until the middle of Amarantha's reign, when she killed the Day Court High Lord when they were part of the rebellion. And then he became High Lord, presumably after she took them under the mountain. Or as she took them under the mountain.
Okay.
As for Lady A and Helion being mates, he's telling the story about how he saved her from Hybern during the war. And then, as we know, he took her to safety in his court. They started their affair. Helion says, which I said before, he ripped the beast apart with his bare hands. And Feyre notes that Rhys did the same thing to the ravens in the library. That's when she puts 2 and 2 together, that they're actually mates. And then Helion says that Lady Autumn chose Beren because she was already his wife and the mother of his children. As well as the Lady of the Autumn Court, obviously. Feyre put 2 and 2 together and realized that Lady Autumn stayed with Beren to protect her unborn child, which was Lucien, from getting killed. And that if it came out that Lucien was not Beren's and she is married to Beren, he would not stop. He would kill her child and probably kill her as well.
He would for sure kill Lady A.
All right, hello everybody.
Hello.
We made it.
We did.
You guys have no idea.
Wait, but we have exciting news and you need to tell them.
Well, so I filmed for about 6 hours the other night with Eka. You will see that episode or clips or chunks of that episode eventually. I'm not sure when. Depends on when I'm editing and what we're talking about during the episodes. But she does introduce herself in the beginning and all of that. So that is fun.
I love it. So, okay, so Eka, she introduced herself, but for people who don't know and haven't seen, your clip yet, how did we meet her? Tell us a little bit about Eka.
She definitely agreed to be a more common guest, so that's fun. She has her own crazy crack theories too. She's kind of like me. She gets super hyped. And actually, I will have her on with Olivia because she agrees with me about Cormac.
I love it. I love it. Bring it on. I want to talk to both of you because you both are just, I love you both, but there's no way.
Oh, so
No
much
way.
way. So much
Yeah.
way.
There's just no way. And like, I need information about Akatar 6 so we can put this to bed. Let's be done.
Do you know with every reel that I do about Cormac or Cassian, I keep get like random people. Some of them are like people that we've talked to, like, or that have commented before. But there's random comments too that literally are like, oh my God, someone finally voiced it. Oh my God, I totally don't think he's dead. Oh my God, he's definitely coming back. I never would have thought of him with Nesta. Like, I was like, I feel so smart.
So what is everyone saying, like, that they agree with you that he's definitely coming back? Just the way that he died?
Yeah.
They all feel the same way.
The
It was
way
like
that
kind of
he
shitty.
died, like the stuff that I've said, like the way that he died, the things that he knew about Prithian, the way that he taught Bryce how to winnow the word mark thing. Like, they're like, yeah, it's super sketchy, and I don't believe that he's dead. I'm like, thank you. Thank you. Because Olivia thinks I'm crazy, and I'm not.
I do. I absolutely am convinced that he's dead, that man's dead, because I mean, even like, it's just weird. The whole thing is weird. CC3 was
Exactly.
a nightmare. I'm sorry. I know people liked it, but like,
I
Sophie and
know.
Cormac was not closed up. Like,
Well,
I'm not even all
Sophie
the way done.
died. She was
What?
human. They didn't have a mate bond. Like, it's sad. It's like
That
Lucien
okay,
and Jasminda or
did they
Dorian and
act
Sorsha, but they
did
didn't
that
have a
actually
bond.
say that?
They never had a mate bond. He just loved her.
Not that
He just said that his father would like kill him if he decided to be with her, but he was figuring out a way to be with her.
it's very sad. I mean,
I'm like, that's so Autumn Court coded. That's so
what is?
Eris.
What is figuring out a way to be with her? You're saying
Yeah, like
that?
Lucien and Jasminda, like how like he was gonna run away with Jasminda and then she got killed and then like Eris has to have had some sort of love interest at some sort of point. And you know that I like to believe it's Gwen's mother, but it could have
I
been
know.
anybody. But I
I
think that's
know.
also why we've never like Eris has never been seen or mentioned like even trying to love someone because
Well, Nesta, hello, he asked her to
well,
marry him.
yeah, but I think that was because he wanted her help taking down Baron. Honestly, like he obviously
Probably.
thought he was hot and like he wanted to fuck her or whatever. Like
Yeah.
obviously, it's Nesta. Let's be real. Nesta's hot. Okay.
Yeah. Everybody knows that.
Let's be real.
Everybody feels that way about
Everybody
her.
wants Nesta. Helion wants Nesta.
Yeah. Helion,
Lucian's
Cassie,
dad
and
is like,
Eris.
I don't think we've been introduced. And she's like, I don't care.
Who said that?
Nesta.
Helion? Did
Helion.
Helion?
Yeah, during the High Lords meeting, he's like, I don't think we've ever met. And she's like, I don't care. And she puts her hand up to his face.
But he loved it. He was like, I know he loved that.
No. That's like everybody wants Nesta. But
I
I mean,
know.
like, as far as like a real connection, like Cormac and Sophie or Lucien and Jasminda, like I feel like Eris has to have something. Someone in his
Well, that's also why I'm like, the Moore thing is sketch, because it's like they act like,
I totally
don't
think that
know.
they're mates, and I don't think they hate each other as much as they put on, which I'm actually gonna bring up. But also, I keep going back to what his voice actor said
Which was, we'll just
about
say it
it,
again for
right? Which last year during Eris Week, the girls on Tumblr did an interview with the voice actor that plays Eris in the graphic audio, and it was on our previous episode back then, and he had basically said like, you know, some of the most emotional scenes that I have to prepare for are with Morgan because he has so many feelings when he's around Moore. And I was like, mate
I
feelings, you mean?
I actually like really wish that they were mates.
I do think that they're mates, 100%.
but like reciprocated, like that she had feelings for him. I really kind of wish that she
No,
did, you know?
I know.
I don't know. I
I
know that.
think it would be like, what if, and I know we got to get back to the things, but like,
I
what
know.
if they're just waiting out the demise of their fathers? Because I mean, technically, they do have centuries.
Like, okay. No, I know that they won't get together. I know they're mates.
Yeah. Like, after the whole Moore thing, that's what throws me off. It's like, yeah, you sleep with guys, but like, you prefer girls, but like, how
I
did
know.
that
I'm
ever
like,
make
so
sense?
how
I hate that fan service.
I don't like that. It's like, so have they slept together ever, ever, ever? I don't know. Is that why he has feelings, or are they like? I can't tell if they've slept together and
That's
then.
part of me and Ekka's super fucking unhinged theory that we
Yeah.
have to talk about. If you guys have seen my reels recently, I did a 6 or 7 minute video because I had posted my old reel from like a year and a half ago about how I was like, oh, what if Cormac is Moore's brother? Because remember how we said that there were two males that Feyre said there were two males that could be your brothers or cousins or whatever, and they both look the same. So after I was like, okay, so what if he's not a brother? What if he's her son? Because it would kind of actually check out because Cormac's only 77. Cormac 77, Rune's 75. So I had this whole big theory that actually kind of shocked myself even with all these clips from the book and like connections and stuff. And it was actually kind of shocking. And I kind of sort of mushed two and two together into being like, what if Cormac, like being their son, is like the fucking secret, like that, the fucking secret, because Moore would not have wanted Cormac to even be raised in the Autumn Court, because technically, right, according to Baron, which I actually failed to put in my reel, but now that I'm thinking of it, because according to Autumn Court law, remember, their children are their property. So even if Moore had Eris's son, if Baron knew about that, if Keir knew about that, he wouldn't be Moore's son. He would be Eris's son. And Baron would just continue his tyrannical rule of however he treats the boys, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I will talk about that theory with Ekka because I know she wanted to be here for it. So I'm not going to deep dive into it right now.
That's fine.
But it makes a lot of sense, actually.
But how do you explain King Morven then?
I think he's Keir's brother. I also have a bunch of explanations for that as well. But again, I can't.
Okay, I'll have to.
I promised her that she would be on when I talked about it. But
Ekka, hurry up!
I know. But I will say that one of the connections I made, which I've already said before, Keir's name means dusk, right? Like dusk court. Morven's name means big peak and lives around the sea. And we know that's the exact description of the Dusk Court Island. And Keir has shadow magic. Morven has shadow magic. But Keir's the blonde. Moore's the blonde. Cormac is somehow blonde. His mother is never spoken about. He doesn't have a mother that he talks about. There's so much. There's so much. It's crazy.
I like it. I like it. It's just how old was King Morven again?
I think he was like Einar's age, so like over 500, I think. Baron is like 1100. Lady Autumn's like 500. Einar's like 500 something. They're all kind of in their 500s. We know that Lauren is only 270 something, which again lines up with her being Rhys's sister.
Oh, totally.
too. Yeah, there's no age listed, but yeah, he was known as High King, High King, High King,
King
of the
Morven?
High King of the Avalon Fae, and the Stag King.
The Stag King?
Right? Right? So I think if Morven is the older brother of Kier, so that he was, that's why Kier is not that fucking powerful. He's just a fucking steward. That's why Mor would be the rightful heir to Hewn City, but they don't give positions of power to females.
Wait, okay, but we are not saying that Cormac is Mor and Morven's son. We're saying that Cormac is
Mor and
Eris-
Eris's son. Yeah.
Eris's son, and then like was given to Morven
because he didn't have an heir, because he didn't have a lover, and he needed an heir to Avalon. And
how do we know for a fact that he didn't have a lover?
He never
It's just
mentions it. No, he doesn't have like a wife or a mate, or Cormac never mentions having a mother at all. It's
Not
fucking
like that.
weird. No females were on in his fucking castle at all. It was just his sole throne. It's so weird.
He's weird.
So I feel like, and Cormac is the one that always harps on the fact, like, you have to keep it in the bloodline, the pure bloodlines, the pure bloodlines, the pure bloodlines. And it's like, if he didn't have an heir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't want to sound mean, but I really don't think Mor would really want to be a mother. Not for nothing.
Well, I don't. Well, she just doesn't. She's never expressed like interest in that per se. Like,
so I feel like, I don't know. So I feel like I don't know, maybe it was some kind of like deal or bargain, or I don't know. Morven was very sus, just like Einar. That's why they were friends. They had a lot of shit.
they knew a lot of shit. You know what? I feel like and I haven't finished it yet because I'm taking my time.
Yeah.
But I feel like we were seriously fucking robbed between Einar, like conversation between Einar and Morven, and like all the secrets and all the shit. And I've said this 3 or 4 times. Like, Einar knew so much, and we only got a little clip of him.
I know.
And we'll never know she killed him. I'm pissed.
And the fact that like Cormac's like, oh, I'm cousin to your mom. I'm cousin to your, which makes fucking sense because Mor's family is cousin to Reese's family.
Reese's family. Yes.
Right. Ugh. And I swear, I know Donald is definitely her fucking maiden name because Sarah didn't want to tell us what Reese's last name was.
Well, wouldn't that be his name?
It's
too,
Cormac's
Rhys
last name too, yeah.
No, it would be Rhysand's name too, Rhysand Donald, right? Because
because Rhys would have his father's last name. They would have his father's last name. His mother's maiden name was Donald.
Oh.
He says that Lauren says that her mother's surname was Donald. Remember?
She's so smart. She's so tricky that she like
so tricky. I'm like, I love how she snuck that fucking line in there. Rune was like, oh, her mother's surname. I was like, excuse me?
Yeah.
Since when do the Fae allow maiden names to be used?
Yeah. Never.
And where's Lauren's father? Where's Lauren's fucking father?
Not even how close can I get to revealing an identity without revealing an identity? And I will only say the female's last names, even though I've never said it in any of the other books.
I'm not going to mention her dad. I'm not going to mention Cormac's mom.
Yeah. Like, we know Aelin. Does Lysandra have a last name?
Yes, NR.
What is it?
NR, ENNAR. I know.
What?
I know.
Okay.
So and he's the fucking Stag King too. It's so confusing.
I know. So here's my question to you. Is why does she continually use similar names?
I don't know.
And then we'll go back to Helion
me.
Like Lysandra, Einar.
Einar. Yeah. It's
It
fucking
bothers me.
ridiculous.
Briar,
Cormac, Morven, Morrigan, here.
yeah. Who else has similar names? Like Rune, the Rune Mountains. There's Rune. There's so she's.
Yep.
It's like
Aelin and Elaine.
What? What? I swear to God, if this
Nesta
is
and Vesta. Briar and Briar. Crusader and Crusada. It's fucking crazy.
It's really weird. It's weird. I swear, I really hope she doesn't make this like just like an alternate universe thing where it's like just like different dimensions with like the same people in it, but it wouldn't make sense, you know? I don't know.
It's
I just don't know why
you need to fucking be on when we do that theory. Just
I want to hear it. I like the theory. I don't think it is, but I like it. We'll have to hear it. But let's talk about Helion and Lady Gay.
All right. Going back, sorry that we had that little interlude of,
rant, that little rant.
Word vomit. Interlude. We left off saying that Baron would kill Lady Autumn and Lucien if he found out that Lucien was not his child. 100%.
Well, that's what I'm trying to understand, because he doesn't even like Lucien. Doesn't even want him, and he kills Jasminda. Why, just to be a jerk, like an a-hole? He doesn't even want him. He doesn't even like Lucien.
So I see that as a power move, because he's like, okay, if you're gonna say that Lucien's my son, then he's not marrying a fucking lesser fae and tainting my bloodline.
You think that's what it is?
And like, she couldn't say anything because he fucking knows that she's never gonna admit it. Yeah. Because then, but that's also why he gave the brothers hunting rights for Lucien. He's like, all right, see if you can catch the bitch. See if you can catch the little fucker. Like, you know. And I also want to point out, which I have before, but it's like one of my favorite things ever that I help people realize. But when Eris is under the High Lord order to drag them back to Autumn, he never touches Lucien. He just leaves Lucien to the fucking weak brothers because he knows he can take them.
I know. I love them so much. But I also it's funny to me to see Lucien being hunted, because I feel like Lucien's so powerful. But when you're being hunted by like 3 or 4 other people, or he's just acting like he's weak,
also he was like really young back then. So we don't really know what he knew then versus what he knows now.
Or maybe
this is why we need a prequel. This is why we need a prequel. I
want the prequel.
I need to know what the fuck he knew. I need to know if Tamlin told him anything. Like, come on.
I know. We don't know that. Like, maybe Tamlin trained him. Maybe he like showed him how to use more of his powers or something. I know Tamlin taught him how to fight. I just know it.
Yes. You know what someone said the other day, which I loved so much, because this was kind of sort of in my mind lately, which is really weird that happens often. But someone put, and I don't know if it was on Tumblr or Facebook, but someone said that they had a headcanon that once Lucien was in the Spring Court or whatever, he learned that he wasn't Baron's because he started to glow randomly. Oh, no. And so I commented and I said, that goes fucking perfectly with my theory that Lady Autumn and Eris used binding potions on his day court magic so Baron wouldn't find out and kill him as a child. And so when he got to Spring and he was no longer ingesting what they were giving to him, and it eventually wore off, every time he was like happy or whatever, he was just fucking glowing like a glow stick. Oh, it was Rachel's crack post.
I love it.
Rachel's crack post.
I love it.
Tamlin's like,
didn't see it.
Oh my God. Where Tamlin was like, are you kidding me? You didn't know you fucking glow like a glow stick at night or whatever. And Lucien was like, what? He's like, Lucien, you're glowing right now.
I love that. I love it.
You guys need to follow Prithian _deleted_ scenes on Instagram. It's
I
is fucking her. Hilarious.
I need to follow her right now. I'm literally gonna find it as we speak.
It's so funny. She does so many, and they're hilarious. She does every single ship, every single, and they're just like little like Prithian deleted scenes. They're so funny.
I love it. I absolutely love
Day
it.
court attendant. Are you sure he's yours? He's giving October. We should get this checked out. Maury's close personal friend. I could get us on a show next week. Helion, show them your thighs. Lucien rolls up tuna chem. Day court attendant. Gasp. The muscle. The gleam. It's his baby Helion. Come home at last. What with Lucien as an egg?
As of what?
As a fertilized egg.
Oh my god, what? Okay, but like, so
Sarah
I was
gives him a gift of like a painting of like Helion and Lady Autumn having sex.
oh my god. Oh my
He's like,
god.
why have you given me a painting of my parents having sex? Sarah, it's you as a freshly fertilized egg. I call it making a fox. Do you like it? This is my worst nightmare, but none of my nightmares have ever even been this vivid.
Oh my god.
Helian's like, I'll take it. Where should I hang it? Oh man. Vivian, you really have to stop getting pregnant by men who sound like they belong on the periodic table. Helion and Baron.
I love it. I
There's
love it.
so many. There's so many.
I followed her. I found her and I just followed her.
Yeah. It's Lucien, hey dad, Helion. Yes, my dear autumnal progeny, my sweet pumpkin spice child, my fall fledgling, my harvest time sunflower, the maple byproduct of my loins, my gingerbread seeking fastest sperm, my supreme Halloween peen cream. Please, I'm begging you, just use my name.
Did she make these up? That's so funny. Oh my god.
It works. I need it.
I'm obsessed. I'm so obsessed with this. Oh my god, that's amazing. It's so funny to me. That just like cracks me up. I don't know.
Oh my god.
Okay, so tell me more about your theory. This Lady Autumn Helion thing.
Anyways.
Yeah, I know.
It's
we can talk about that for hours.
Anyways, I had said before that I think Lady Autumn not only stayed to protect Lucien, but also to protect Eris, because Eris is the heir and couldn't leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because you think that Baron wouldn't hurt Eris though, because he is the.
But then we see in the meeting how he's like, you're the most powerful, so I need you as my heir. But if your brothers want to kill you,
it's not a big deal.
They can fight you to the death. Like, go ahead.
Yeah.
Because he's like all about power. So whoever can come out on top is gonna, want.
Yeah.
I said, keep in mind at that point, Baron found out about the affair, had already beat her to the cusp of death because of it, with which Eris says, which he had to witness that probably.
I know.
And I know Eris haters will be like, oh, well, he didn't protect his mother then, and blah, blah, blah. But Eris literally says after the whole ice scene that Baron High Lord ordered him to go after Lucien and Feyre. So, you can't, it's a compulsion. You physically cannot fight a High Lord order.
Yeah.
So, if Baron ordered him to fucking stay still and watch, his body's gonna do what Baron says.
Yeah.
It's awful.
I also just want to say something slightly controversial real quick. People are going to be really pissed at me for this. I disagree with obviously how Baron treats his wife. Like, beating someone to death is 100% wrong. 100% wrong. Okay, hear me out. Also, though, Lady A was cheating on her husband. That's
to
not
be fair. Can I play
not
devil's
good.
advocate?
Yes, you can, but he shouldn't be beating her. He should just divorce her. But go on.
She did not willingly enter into this marriage. She was sold to him.
She was sold to him, but cheating's still wrong, right?
But she didn't choose to be married to him. married to him. They forced it, so
I still think it's wrong.
like
I still
she
think it's
literally
wrong.
has no obligation to be faithful to him because he literally bought her like a fucking piece of chicken. Like he like bought her like property. So she has no obligation to him really.
Oh, I don't agree with that. I think that like she made vows to be his wife.
She was forced to make vows.
Forced to make vows. That she needs to end those vows. Like she needs to like cancel them. Like that's how like
But see, it would be like if Lauren, you know, because she had Rune, was forced to marry Einar, and then, you know, she was like, whatever. Like, it's the same thing. Like, if she's forced to do it and it's not willingly, then you really have no obligation to the person who forced you into it, in my opinion.
well,
Like, if someone kidnapped me,
there we go. There are
like if-
controversial opinions.
like if
I guess.
someone kidnapped me and had a fucking gun to my head and was like, "You're marrying me, say these vows," I have no fucking obligation to them just because they forced me to marry them.
Yeah, I guess, but like I don't necessarily see that like that. Like she was sold to Baron, yes, but at the time he wasn't like awful. You know what I mean?
I
I
don't
think
know that. He bought her. Of course he was awful.
I wouldn't say he bought her.
He bought her.
They made an arrangement. It's like an arranged marriage.
No, it says sold. That is a business transaction, like she is property. He bought her. He purchased her like a sex doll. Okay? No.
I'm gonna go back and read it because I don't remember the term sold or
Yes,
the word
it
sold
says
being in
sold.
there.
Helion says sold.
Okay, I'll go
Anyways.
and look at it. Keep going.
I said this was right before she knew she was pregnant, so she couldn't risk speaking to Helion again, which is probably why she didn't tell him about Lucien. And also, let's be real, after Baron found out, he's not letting her out of his fucking sight. Or at least his guard's sight.
Yeah.
Either. And also, I've said it, but I think that he's somehow siphoning her or drugging her or something. Because if she's a super powerful person, so much so that you need to force her into marrying you, then you need her power for fucking something. Let's be real. And if she was that powerful so much so that you needed her, that means she was more powerful than you. So there's no way that she couldn't just smoke him unless he has, I don't know, unless he has something on her.
Interesting. Okay, I got you.
I said also Helion and Lady A kind of remind me of Erison more, because Helion let Lady A stay with Baron because they were married. He thought that's what she chose because he didn't know about Lucien. And Eris left more at the border because he knew she wanted freedom despite her pain as well. So despite them wanting their mates and wanting to touch them, wanting to claim them, wanting to help save them, they knew in a way that they couldn't and that their hands were tied and that if they did, they would literally make it like a million times worse for their mate. Because Baron literally could have caused civil wars and, you know, all their people would have been collateral and he would have just slaughtered all of their children and let's be real.
It probably would have been a Tamlin Rhysand situation and the court would have been. But that's why I'm like, that's kind of why I'm a little pissed at Helion is because, like, and I give Rhys credit and Tamlin credit because they both fought for Feyre.
But
both of them.
but they didn't cause a civil war. But like Baron, they all of them even say, Rhys and Tamlin, like they hate each other, but like everyone hates Baron. Literally everybody hates Baron. But they know that he's a fucking turd bag.
I must be the only one that like I'm so concerned.
He's hilarious and he has some valid points at the meeting. That does not make him not an abuser.
No, that's true. But that whole High Lords meeting, everything Baron said was like truth. And I was like, wait, Why do we hate him again? He sounds like pretty on the money.
I know. Also, I still don't believe that Rhys didn't force them to give Feyre that kernel, because there's no motherfucking way that Baron voluntarily gave his first, because he was so pissed at the meeting.
He was the first one. I read that and I'm like,
Hey,
I
I
was
do
like, she
not
must-
believe Rhys. I do not believe him. Because in Feyre's fucking narrative in the meeting, she's like, I know that you just encouraged them and you told me that you just encouraged them or whatever, but like Rhys alone, just Rhys's presence alone after what he did to Brudius under the mountain is a threat. So by
I know.
telling them to do it, he was threatening them to do it. So like whether he
Well-
demoted them or not, he still made them do it. And Baron was fucking pissed.
Well, okay, so I'm trying to figure out, did Sarah, see, to me, I like where you're at, and I can see that happening. I could see it. And I kind of would like to see a different, like, Baron's version of it, that, like, Rhys actually did threaten him. But I almost feel like Sarah just, like, rewrote Baron. Like, I feel like book one happened, she, like, wrote him, like, giving the kernel,
Well,
and then she,
yeah.
like, evaluated.
Yeah,
And she retconned.
because Feyre under the mountain was like, oh my god, that has to be Lucian's dad. He looks just like him.
It's him. Yeah. And then, like, we
So I
go
was
to
like-
another book, and we're like, what?
But also, are you blind, Feyre? Because she's like, Lucien looks just like his mom. Lucien looks just like Baron. Lucien looks just like Helion. Who does he look like?
I know.
All of them. He looks like all of them. Does
All three.
every Autumn Court person look the same to you, Feyre?
I just had a conversation like this. It was about. Anyways, go on.
Oh my god.
All the redheads. She can't decipher all the redheads apart.
Baron isn't even a fucking redhead. He has brown hair.
I know. He's the only one.
Another reason why he needed Lady A, because I'm telling you, Lady A's line was the one that went to Midgard, but I will.
Oh, it totally is the one that went to Midgard, of course. Agreed.
I'll get back to that. But anyway,
Okay, anyways, go on.
I need to get past this page at least.
We do.
I said that I fully believe that Helion puts on this mask of nonchalance and sarcasm and sleeps around because of his mate instincts. And we know from Rhys, especially about like Lucien for some reason, but we know from Rhys where he's like the mate bond like can literally drive the male crazy, right? So my theory is that Helion like literally not has to, but Helion literally has this compulsion to sleep with people because the mate bond is literally like neglected and just pulled so tight, and like he needs to stave off like that insanity kind of, so he doesn't just fucking like barge in and grab Baron by the throat. So I think that's what his whole act is about, because he even says after the High Lords meeting, he's like, oh, sorry for my arrogance and, you know, playing the game, Rhys, and all that stuff. So I was like, he loves her. And like he was giving Lady Autumn like moon eyes the whole time.
Aw, I know. I just
He must have been in so much fucking pain. So the fact that I love that they always say that like because Helion is day and Rhys is night, but that they are also similar. They're similar in the way that when they are either in pain or they don't want to admit something, they put on their masks, right? However, the opposite comes with their reactions to that and how they wear the masks, because Rhys, as we know, is, you know, cruelty and power, like he does with Kier and the Court of Nightmares, right? And Helion's is more cockiness and sarcasm and everything is a joke, which is equally as telling, but I feel like it's more realistic. Like I feel like people do that in real life.
yeah, totally.
So I feel like so many people overlook like Helion's depression because he's the jokester and he's, you know, the rake and this and that. And he's always the funny one. And it's like, but it's also very telling when they're too funny, you know?
Yeah.
In my
Yeah.
opinion.
There's something. Yeah.
So I'm like, he like he's hurting so bad. Like he wants his mate so bad. And it's been how many years? 500 years almost.
Oh yeah. It's impressive he hasn't lost his mind completely.
I know. Well, I mean, again, why we need the prequel, because how did he deal with that when they were both under the mountain? How?
I know.
Because
I know.
by then, especially because when they were under the mountain, he had just become High Lord under the mountain. So I know that like Amarantha took their powers away, so he really didn't know the extent of his power till after Under the Mountain, which is why I think he's probably struggling now.
Yeah.
Because again, that's another 50 years that he didn't have High Lord magic. So he's still a new High Lord, pretty much. It's been about 50 years or less, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I don't think people recognize. They're like, oh, Tarquin and Callias, and they're all the youngest High Lords, and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yes, Helion in age is older, but he's also a brand new High Lord. And I always feel like they forget that the Day Court was part of the rebellion, and that Helion is a brand new High Lord too.
I forget that myself, that the Day Court was a part of that. It was Day Court in winter, wasn't it?
It was Day Court, Winter Court, and Summer Court.
In Summer Court.
It was, yeah, so it was Helion, Callias, and Tarquin that got their powers as they were being dragged under the mountain. And then
You know what? That makes me so.
And then it was like stripped right away. So they're all still kind of learning to be High Lords, especially poor Tarquin, because he's like the epitome of like an 18-year-old.
He's so awesome. I love how someone described him the other day as he's an unproblematic king. Did you see that?
Tarquin's like that super naive teenager that wants world peace.
Well, he's certainly the most peaceful. He's the most reserved, and yeah.
But he also calls out bullshit when he sees it. Like he doesn't have a filter either.
He kind of reminds me a little bit of Lucien, like when he says stuff, because he's just like, it's like off the cusp. Like,
that's probably why I have a headcanon that they're like also best friends.
Best friends, yeah. I feel like Lucien and Tarquin would get along really well.
But I also find it hilarious because everyone treats Lucien like he's this child because he's like 300 to like they're 500. But then we have Tarquin who's literally 80. And he's like the baby. And they're like, oh, Tarquin. Oh, that little boy.
I know.
The little boy High Lord.
I know.
Like King Tut, like the child king.
I know. I love it.
But anyway. Yeah, I feel bad for Helion because he's like so depressed as well, and people don't recognize it.
He wears it really, really well. Like very well.
It's just so sad. Anyways, I said also that this causes more trauma for Lucien because I said, imagine being told that your mother had suffered centuries worth of abuse just to keep the secret that you're not your super abusive father's child, but one that was conceived out of love with her mate, and that your mother dealt with that abuse and trauma all to keep you alive and to keep you safe.
I think Lucien knows. Lucien knows.
But I think this is also why he doesn't bring up his mother, because we know from, and actually I don't think we've ever talked about this scene, and I've always meant to, but the first time that Feyre goes into his mind in the Spring Court, where she says all she felt was unending guilt and sadness. Unending. I
know.
But
I didn't remember the guilt. I just remember the sadness.
Guilt and sadness.
Yeah.
Which I want to point out, he acts the exact same way as Helion. The cockiness, the sarcasm,
the rakishness. I'll be damned.
They have the same mask covering their depression.
I love Melanie. Good point. Well pointed. Like, that was excellent to point that out.
I know. I was like, I don't think I've ever said this.
You have never said that before. Never.
But yeah, I remember the guilt because when Lucien sees Elaine come out of the cauldron, he's like, oh, she's the most beautiful female I've ever seen. And then like the guilt about Jasminda, like queasy and oily, slid through his veins or whatever. Or not the cauldron scene, the scene at the townhouse. And I was like, there's the guilt.
Yeah.
And then like my mother's secrets remain wholly personal. And I'm like, there's more of the guilt.
Yeah. Yeah. He knows he's Helion's son. He knows exactly what's going on with his mom. He knows about the affairs. Like, he knows everything.
100%. Oh, why do you think my brothers did their best to break and kill me?
Yeah.
Oh, my
Yeah.
mother's secrets are wholly personal. I can't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Come on. Oh, I'm not stupid enough to kill up the long list of heirs, but you know that it doesn't work that way. You know that it doesn't work that way, you sly fox.
I know.
Mixing truth with lies, just like your big brother taught you.
I know.
Your step-in daddy. That's what me and Eka talked about, Eris being Lucian's step-in dad when they were little. It was
I love that. He totally was. He absolutely was.
I said, I think when everything comes out, we're finally going to see the extent of Lucian's depression. Because like all of the shows and all of the books and media and everything that I've seen, as well as like even my work training with like mental health issues and everything, there always has to come a rock bottom before someone can actually start to heal.
Yeah.
And we have not seen Lucian's rock bottom.
Amen. Amen.
We've seen Elaine's rock bottom, which she's at right now. We've seen almost Tamlin's rock bottom, where he's at right now. We have not seen Lucian's rock bottom. And I'm scared. I am of the full belief that it's going to be his parents, Lady Autumn and Helion, dying together to save him. Whether it's from Koshi or...
Yeah.
I think that they're going to die together, and I think that's just going to bring all of his guilt to a head, and he's not going to know what to do with it.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. I think it's both of them. I think they're going to be yeah, it's exactly right. And
can I mention something?
Yeah.
You know how I said that Lucian and Tamlin's lives are exact mirrors of each other? What would happen if Helion and Lady Autumn die?
Yeah.
He gets his High Lord power.
Lucian, well, yeah, we know that.
In a scene of grief. And he was never trained, just like Tamlin. But this is also why I think Eris, after he talks to him and he's like, look, this is what happened. I couldn't tell you that I was still a good person, blah, blah, blah. This is why I think Eris is going to help him become
get through it.
High Lord, yeah. Because they're gonna be High Lords together.
So
as much as I don't want Helion and Lady Autumn to die, because I do want their love story, the fact seeing Eris and Lucian being High Lords together.
Yeah. I know. It's been on my mind all week long about Helion and Lady A.
And I don't know if Lucian's going to have I feel like he does have to have his moment of anger like everybody else.
Oh, it's coming. Absolutely, it's coming.
And I don't know whether that's
pissed about Elaine.
But
he's pissed about Elaine.
But he's really not. He's really not pissed about. He's sad about Elaine. I don't see him being pissed about Elaine. I think he's going to be more pissed about the Eris keeping shit from him. I think he's either going to blow up at Eris or he's going to blow up at his mother, which is only going to make him feel shittier. That's my theory.
Or he's gonna blow up at Helion for being like, why would you not save my mom?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Yep. I do think it's gonna be one of those three or all of them in the same fucking room.
Yeah.
How dare you think that you can tell me what my life is gonna be without me being in the know about my own fucking life. I can feel him going off on them because they basically twisted his entire life without him knowing. He probably found out, but they don't know that he knows. They don't know that he knows. He knows that they're lying to him.
Probably.
He's gonna explode.
I'm convinced that the next book Lucian's gonna like lose it, absolutely lose it. Like he's gonna be like, and I think that's kind of why in the bonus chapter, like Reese was like enacting the blood duel. It's not because Lucian is enacting the blood duel to kill Azriel. I think he's gonna just lose his temper, and he has so many bad things happening to him. And then I think he knows about Elaine and Azriel. He can feel it. He can feel that through her, and he's hurting from it. He knows about that.
Yeah. I don't want it to have anything to do with Elaine. I don't know why. I want
You
him-
always cover for her. I think she deserves it personally, but that's just me.
Yeah, but like she's still his mate. I feel like he would do like the thing is I want meaningful scenes with his parents before they die. That's what I want.
Absolutely.
Even if they're small
Absolutely.
scenes. So if Lucian has his huge breakdown and like kind of like Farah and Akamath, like I want him to have a Farah-esque type breakdown in Akamath where it's just blinding light and fire and everything everywhere. And I want like Helion to be the one to like grab his shoulders and just be like comforting him like a dad. I want
I know.
that so bad.
I'm
I
curious.
want his parents to do that.
I know. I'm curious. I don't know if she's gonna write it that way because we have not seen any indication of Helion stepping into fathership, or I don't know. I know he might not know. Helion might know, but Lady A and Lucian know about it. So
And like I put a bunch of notes. I said, Lucian already outwardly self-deprecates and nobody points it out. Like he saves Farah's life 4 times and he's like, I didn't know I was the villain in your narrative and you're a better friend than I was, which no the fuck she was not.
no, she was not.
No,
She's
she was
horrible.
not.
She was a really bad friend.
And then like when Farah's in his mind, I said he literally calls himself a whole lot of nothing. And she's shackled to me. Why? Like, I gave her a life shackled to me. Or not I gave her a life, but he was like, she was given a life shackled to me. And I'm a whole lot of nothing. And I'm like, oh my God.
Which is interesting because Cassian, if you think about it, Cassian also mentioned being shackled together, and Cassian also felt worthless and like he was a whole lot of nothing as well. So I think that's kind of an interesting parallel.
Here's the difference between those. Lucian's was in his mind and it was about himself. He felt bad for Elaine being shackled to him. Cassian's was outward and he said that he was shackled to Nesta, yelling at her. 2 different situations there.
But
Lucian's the better male, period.
Cassian also had those feelings of worthlessness as well. He did. He was like, she deserved a king or whatever.
She does deserve a king. So he calls himself a whole lot of nothing. He says to Elaine that I'm the 7th son of the High Lady Autumn Court. Is she to spend her life shackled to me? I said not only does Elaine have all her trauma to deal with, but so does Lucian, which is why I love going back to the interview where SJM says they have a whole lot of healing to do together. I think we discussed that last time. Cracking the metaphorical egg wide open is the heart of Lucian's trauma that he will need to work through with his mate. Then and only then will both of them be able to come into their full power, both individually and as mates. And I think that they're going to be such a force, especially when he becomes High Lord. And then I said, quick little aside, I can see Elaine being lured or kidnapped or possessed by Koshi, or vice versa, and either of them going feral. But I can see, because they're mates, and we already know that Lucian is the Day Court heir, I can see Elaine, I could see either of them exploding with like Sunfire, spell cleaving power, throwing themselves fully into that magic to save one another. And if it's Lucian for Elaine, he would do that for everyone that he's lost, like even his mother that he couldn't save, Jasminda that he couldn't save. If it's him saving Elaine and not the other way around, he's gonna go full fucking feral to do it. Because he's already, like, he lost all his friends in the Spring Court. He lost his own eye. Like, he is done losing.
Yeah.
This man is done losing. He is going to win at all costs this time. And we see it in Akasif, because what does it say during that fucking meeting? He looked out to the sea as if he was marking his target.
For Koshi, is that?
And I think I've said it, but I think he can definitely sense that something is off with Elaine, and I think he knows that it's probably connected to Koshi as well. Especially because we know that he's been talking to Vasa, and Vasa's been feeding him information. And like the sly fox that he is, he's fucking putting 2 and 2 together.
Mm-hmm.
And like, there's no fucking way I'm losing my mate this time.
I love that idea. I love the idea that they are in the house of the Band of Exiles, and him and Vasa are talking about Koshi, and they're trying to plan and plot, because Elaine preferring Asriel is just Koshi's spell on her. And
it's
I
so crazy.
I'm still an Lucien.
The 180 is wild. Nobody points it out. They think I'm fucking crazy, but it's so obvious if you go through.
And I think Vasa and Lucien are just at the house,
and friends,
they talk about Koshi, and I think they're planning. So
right. And like the way that I don't know, it's like we know that Elaine is connected to the swans, Koshi's swans, right? Already. We know that Koshi told Asriel, "Oh, I've been preparing for you for months and you don't even want to talk to me." They are both connected to Koshi already.
Yep.
It's fucking obvious.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think so.
I said, what if in that rage and protection he also burns Baron to death in a similar way that Lydia did to Pollux?
Can see it.
Since Baron is working with Koshi now, which actually really worries me. Nobody's thinking of Baron being a threat because they're like, oh, Baron, he's just an abuser. No, he's working with Koshi now. And then I said, I would love a scene where all of Prithian are mid-fighting in this war and just look at him engulfed in fucking like sunfire and all collectively realize, holy shit, he's Helion's son.
Yeah.
And Lady Autumn's son. And he's just this huge fucking powerhouse of the likes they never would have ever guessed before because he's been hiding himself forever.
Yes.
because you know, he couldn't put his mom at risk. And like only Reese and Eris knew that. It's going to be fucking wild. He's gonna lose his shit. He's gonna be like, I'm done waiting. I'm taking my life back. Fuck all of you. I want it. I want it.
I want it so bad. Something just kind of clicked with me. Do you remember, I think it was in Akawar, actually no, I think it was Silver Flames, I lied to you, where Eris shows up at the Band of Exiles house. And who are the 4 people who are already sitting in the house together? And do you want to know what? Eris, Lucien, Vasa, Durian. I almost feel like Lucien is the one that told Eris to go and create an alliance with Rhysand. And I think that Lucien, I think that those 4 are plotting together.
I love that you brought that up because Cassian, and I do give Cassian credit and Akasif for trying his best. I do give him credit for being weirdly intuitive at the most random points in the story when he usually isn't. But Cassian does note, not once does Eris bring up his little brother. He's like, Eris purposely is not looking at Lucien, bringing up Lucien, talking about Lucien, mentioning Lucien. He's like, it's weird.
That's because Eris and Lucien they talk all the time. They're in close contact. They're plotting together. I don't
know though, because I feel like Eris wouldn't just because he doesn't want to risk him, because we know that he saved him before. I don't know. I feel like Eris is avoiding him at all costs, but then like he gets caught up in these things where Lucien's like, you're gonna fucking talk to me, asshole. Sit the fuck down.
I don't know. To me, he was very comfortable at the house, the Band of Exile house.
He was on like the blue chair near the fireplace.
lean back in a chair, ankles crossed. Like, you know, he was very at home there. So
Like,
I don't know.
Cassian, are you sure you're not gay?
All right, we're done. Stop right there, ma'am.
Every time there's an autumn
Oh,
court mail
yeah.
around, his hair glimmered like the fire in the fireplace. Lucian's hair was like shiny and flowing down his shoulders. I'm like, you have
They
hair
all talk
envy, my
about-
dude.
They all talk about each other like that. But okay, I have loved talking with you.
I don't know. I like the idea of Lucian and Eris secretly talking. I just don't know if Eris would risk it after everything like he risked before, I guess. I feel like he
Yeah.
would just avoid him, but again, I feel like Lucian's that little kid like clinging to his brother's pant leg.
Oh, I love
And
that.
like and as an adult, he's just like, look, you're gonna talk to me. And like he's still like the
Aw.
little brother that Eris is
I
just like
love that.
trying to
Whatever.
fucking save your life, you prick.
I know. I know. Oh my gosh.
Lucian called him a snake, remember? I
I
hate
do.
that.
I know.
That.
I do.
He's a dead man walking. Yeah, Eris is a snake. What the fuck, Lucian?
Hello.
Hello.
Guess who has a laptop and a microphone today?
Hi guys. It's been a minute.
A minute.
A minute. And I know that we had last week we talked about Helion and Lady A, and like Melanie and I were talking about their mate bonds and what actually is going to happen, or maybe what's going to happen in their storyline. But Melanie and I have been kind of talking back and forth, and it's more so me. I I am just, I don't know if anyone listening feels the same way. I'm so stressed about the fact that like we don't have an announcement from Sarah J. Maas. And like Melanie and I have talked about this. Like it just stresses me out. It makes me nervous and anxious. So in an attempt to and I'm applying for like new jobs and stuff like that. So it's kind of like a weird transition time. So in an attempt to kind of like clear our palettes and stuff, Melanie and I might be changing things up a little bit. We might be getting into a different book series. We have a 2-book series that we wanted to talk to everybody about. For anyone who's interested, Mel and I don't know which one is book 1. Do you remember? Is it God of
Yeah, I
Illusion?
put them in order, actually.
Is it King of Beasts?
King of Beasts.
And who's the author
It's
on
a
this?
4-book like little series. So this author, okay, so I think this one is from, so it's 2 different authors. It's J.A. Armitage and Scarlett Cole. So these 4 are part of like a gigantic series where there's like 4 of like a Cinderella retelling. There's like 4 of this one. There's 4 of like whatever. So there's like a ton of all different fairy tales and such.
So, okay, so for anyone who is listening, we might be taking a break from ACOTAR for a minute, and we might just be talking about this new series here, something that's kind of exciting, and we kind of hope that you read along. And we'll be talking about where we're at in the books and everything like that, in an attempt to kind of change things up a little bit.
Change things up a little bit.
Change things up a little bit. So that is that. It's King of Beasts.
King of Beasts.
We're going to talk about it. I'm really, really into it. But I do want to give another rec to everyone who's listening, because, you know, if you love ACOTAR and you love TOG and everything like that, I know you're probably going to get through all of them and have a hangover, right? So I want to recommend this book to you because it's such an underrated series. Oh my God.
I have
So
a feeling I
amazing.
know what you're gonna say.
I'm telling everybody I know. Okay, so for anyone who can see it, this book, it's Entranced by Sylvia Mercedes. She is such an amazing author. Have you read anything by her, Melanie?
I have a few of her books. I haven't read them yet though.
Oh my God. She is right up there with me with SJM. You know, what I mean? Her writing style, it's so
Please tell me
good.
that's not horror though. 'Cause,
It's
like,
not. Okay. So let me
like
describe it.
mystery thriller-ish.
It's kind of like a thriller. I guess it's not really horror. Like,
Yeah.
to me it's horror because I get scared easily. I don't like things that like give me like I feel
The heebie-jeebies.
the heebie-jeebies. The heebie-jeebies.
Me too.
And let me tell you, I just want to do a
But
little
you
brief,
loved it.
but I loved it. If I'm and I'm scared of or anything, like I'm the type of girl that's like I have to watch a Disney movie. I can't even watch a scary movie. Like that's what I like.
Yeah.
I read this and I was like, I was terrified, but like I have no scare like thing. It's not really scary. So this is a book. It's a fantasy world, much like Akatar. We have Faye, super hot, dark-haired Faye, and he is fucking fantastic.
Of course.
He's so fucking amazing.
Okay,
It's
question.
yeah,
This dude or Cassian?
this one. I will pick him any day of the week
Oh!
because
Ooh.
no, listen, he is Cassian, but like better.
Cassian, but like actually cares about his woman.
Yes, like he's
like
like
actually stands up
Yeah.
for her.
yeah, it's Cassian, but like he adores his mate, and he does. He's selfless, and
Perfect Cassian.
he is thank you. Oh my god, you just described why I love this, but he's a fucking perfect Cassian. I mean, look, do you see how hot he is?
He's what Cassian should have been.
Yes, he is. He's perfect. Please, Melanie, you have to read this series.
Oh
with me.
my
It's
God. Okay,
so fucking good.
do you have, and for all you guys out there, do you have the Fable app?
I do have the Fable app.
I have the Fable app, and I've been trying to, because Goodreads is kind of annoying to navigate, and it's like a
It's super
desktop version,
annoying.
whatever. So
Yeah.
I've been trying to update my stuff on Fable, because you can also post kind of like it's like a bookish Facebook. Just kind
Oh,
of
I
fun.
didn't
So
know
people
that.
post their writing stuff, their reading stuff, and then you can update like what you're currently reading, what you've already read, stuff like that. And I am the type of person that absolutely like hates like stopping in the middle of a book, but I have done that a couple times.
Yeah, me too.
And I wanted to actually do my own book rec if we're going to be doing other books too, because I want to fucking finish it. Because I've seen
Yes.
so much discourse over this book. Either people really, really, really love it or really, really, really hate it. And
Okay.
I enjoyed the handful of chapters that I read, but when I was in the middle of reading it, Harper Woods had just come out with what lurks inside what hunts inside the shadows, which is the second one from What Lies Between the Veil, because I've told you about that series. I love
You
that.
have.
Love that series.
Everyone's wrecking that lately.
And so I like stopped reading it, and then I was like, because I need to read book 2 of this other series. Like I was obsessed with it. But anyways, and I have a special dust jacket on it. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue.
Okay, wait a second. This is the book that you're reading?
Did you hate it? Have you read it?
No, I have not read it. I have heard bad things.
I've heard both sides. So I reached page 71. But I liked the chapters that I read already. I liked them.
I'm gonna let you finish that one by yourself, because I think I saw a spoiler and I have heard not good things. So I don't want to.
I know. I do like happy endings, but like also I kind of like to torture myself with angst too. So
see, I don't like to
long
torture
as
myself.
as long as I'm prepared for there to be no happy ending, I can but
I am a happy ending girly. I need it in my life so much. And if Akatar doesn't have a happy ending, I'll be devastated. I think it will. She said it has. And so yeah, I won't read that book.
Happy ending is Cassian dying, but anyways, go ahead.
Don't freaking say that. Okay. Anyways, to finish my book rec, super hot, dark-haired Faye. He's like the best version of Cassian. Beautiful female human girl that we really don't know a lot about. Gorgeous. No, she's deeply troubled. This is the difference between this book. Deeply troubled human, a girl that has a lot of problems she's got to overcome. And
so like Briar. Miss,
no,
I don't want Tamlin to be with Briar. It's like Tamlin
oh my God.
and Briar.
Melody, you're gonna make me lose my shit. We don't know anything about Briar. You read two freaking paragraphs about Briar, and you're in love with her, and it annoys me to no end. I love you. Annoys the crap out of me. I
She was
can't.
a part of the Children of the Blessed for a reason.
Which I hate.
they
the
want a
Children of the
better
Blessed.
life, so she's troubled.
They're a bunch of like cult kids. They're like the weird, like
Cult kids.
that was a cult. Children of the Blessed is a cult. They acted like they were a cult. They're like the Manson kids from the eight. Like they're weird.
Bitch, if the Fae existed, we would be Children of the Blessed.
No,
we
because
would want to go to Prithian. Are you fucking kidding me right
look
now?
at I would want to go to Prithian, but I also have like a shred of dignity left. So I wouldn't be parading around like being like, take me as a sacrifice. Let me in your world. I would be like, I need to trap and seduce a Fey man with my dignity intact.
But they're not coming over to the wall to the human realm. So how are you going to do that without getting in there?
I would not be in Children of the Blessed. They are a massive cult. We need to call it what it is. I'm sorry.
You believe Feyre's narrative now?
Yeah, I actually do in that sense. And
I
like
do not.
every one of them was your typical like teenager that was like lost and like,
No,
you know,
we're not
like
all teenagers.
some of them were escaping, and I get they were escaping bad situations at home, so like maybe I would join if I was too. But yeah, anyways, finishing my book rec, okay. She's deeply troubled. We learn a lot of things. There's a really cool magical world. But they're kind of enemies, so it's kind of like an enemies maybe to lovers. We don't know. There's a love square going on, which is really interesting because I know who's gonna win, but I also don't know how it's gonna go down. And there's trolls, and there's a surprise for people who want something different. And I'm not gonna ruin it. It's thriller, it's exciting, it's amazing. Please read The Prince of the
I just put
City.
mine. So I have all of them, but I misplaced a couple of them. I say misplaced because it's somewhere in this library.
Yeah.
I don't know. But like the last two,
Yeah.
I don't know where I put them. Like I know I have them because I know that my friend Caitlin bought me all of them for Christmas. And there's a couple in the drawer under me, and I'm like, where are the other two? Like, where are the other two? And I've like looked through my books and like I don't know where I put them right now, but
Oh my gosh.
I'll find them.
Please,
I'll find them
please,
eventually.
please just even like, can you just even start the first book? And if you absolutely hate it, you can like DNF it. But it's so good.
You want
I
to know
mean
what
it.
I'm currently reading? You want to know
What?
what I'm currently reading? A lot.
Tog,
Because I'm such a hypocrite. I'm like, how can anyone stop in the middle of the book? And then I've stopped in the middle of like
I'm like, I'm going through Crown of Midnight right now, and I actually really love it, but Tog has me just dreading stuff. I don't know. Where are you reading? Let me see.
five.
Read them off. Read the books
So
off.
Empire of Storms, I started. I'm on chapter 3. And I'm like,
Okay.
I need a palate cleanser, which Caitlin was so pissed at me because she's like, I told you that's my favorite one, and you're stopping before you read it. Are you kidding me? She was so mad at me. Throne of the Fallen. You guys know that's my favorite series. Kingdom of the Wicked is my favorite series. I am loving this book. I just have been very, very, very slow at reading because
Yeah.
I'm trying to, or I was trying to focus on writing because I have a lot of fanfics, as you guys know, that need to be updated. And I don't know, I always feel like I'm letting people down if I'm not updating often. So I'm about 35% into Throne of the Fallen. I really like it.
Is that you gave that book to me? Can I start at Throne of the Fallen? Is that number 1 or no? No.
It's
Okay.
4.
Okay.
It's number 4.
Okay. Oh, there's a lot to go.
Yeah. So it's like ACOTAR, the first 3 are the trilogy for Amelia and Wrath, and then it's the spin-offs of all of his others, brothers, the Princes of Sin. And
I love it.
Their
I'm
people. So Throne of the Fallen is Envy and Camilla's book, and then Throne of Secrets comes out, I think, in October, which is Gluttony's book.
Okay.
Which I told you, I know she's saving the best for last because I know she's saving the ones everyone wants for last.
That's right. You told me about them. Like Sloth,
Like,
right?
I know for a fucking fact that Greed is gonna be next now because she's saving Pride and Sloth for the end.
I've seen like fan art and I'm like very intrigued. I definitely want to start reading the series. It seems really cool.
Yeah. So I'm kind of obsessed with that at the moment. I'm trying to read that. I'm about 25% into The Thief's Relic, which is from Angela Knotts Morse. She was in my fairy writing academy, and this just proves how procrastinating I am because she's like written and published 2 books in the time
Has
that
she
I've been
really?
working on mine. Yeah.
Wait a second.
This was her first one.
Is that Fairy Writing Academy? Is that still active?
So the person who ran it, she like had a baby, so she had to take like an extended break.
Okay.
So she's still like she's debating on whether to like renew it or not.
Okay. Because
So it's kind
I
of up in the
signed up
air.
for it and then it was
Yeah.
like she's like not
Yeah.
active.
Yeah. So it's kind of up in the air right now, but it was so awesome. Like if you were there when it first started, like everyone was on the Discord. It was awesome. I
Yeah.
want it to be like that again because I miss it, honestly. But The Thief's Relic it's a very different kind of fantasy book. It's about like a young boy. And obviously he's a thief to like survive and everything. That there's like it's like the Thief's Guild and all of this stuff. And I only got like a good handful of chapters in. It's very intriguing, but again, books that I was really, really waiting for came out, so I kind of put it by the wayside. But
Yeah,
it's
that's
still,
how
like it
it's.
still has like the bookmark in it. It's right over there, like right
Aw.
on my shelf. So I'm like, don't forget about it.
Yeah.
I think she just recently published the second one, so I'm gonna have to buy that one. And then Invisible Life of Addie LaRue and the third of the what lies beyond the veil. The third one. I have the third one and I haven't started it yet. I finished the second one. I finished the second one. So this is what happened, okay? I finished the second one. And then Carrie was like, "I'm going to do spin-offs of all the other princes." And I was like, "Now I can't focus on this book because now I'm waiting for Throne of the Fallen."
I have to read it.
It. So yeah, like that came out. So then I put like those 2 books that I was reading aside or whatever. So, but see, what lies beyond the veil is like, it's like if ACOTAR book 1, if Tamlin was like 80% more animalistic fae.
Ooh.
Like
I kind of love that.
Like Calum is
Really?
yeah, he's a blondie too. I love it.
I can't believe that we have a blonde male,
Yeah.
male, and people aren't
He
like,
is feral.
really?
Feral, like animalistic feral fae.
I'm
Well,
intrigued.
well, I should say the end game is an animalistic feral fae, but he's also blonde. So,
Wait, so
well,
Callum,
it's more like silvery, kind of like Rowan.
wait. So Callum isn't end game. He's not.
There's a twist. There's a twist to it. It's very hard to explain. Yes and no.
Oh my gosh, now I'm all stressed out.
Like he is, but he isn't. It's so hard because like it's such a huge twist. It's a twist. But anyways,
Okay.
um
Oh my goodness.
she is not who she believed herself to be. And so
Oh.
she
Does
has this whole which kind of reminds me of Kingdom of the Wicked in a way, how like Amelia wasn't really who she thought she was, and so um Estrella isn't really who she thinks she is, but it's like a growth type thing, and there's like death and like animalistic fae and the wild hunt, the actual wild hunt.
Wild Hunts?
The actual
Entranced,
wild hunt.
Entranced has the Wild Hunt in it too,
Really?
like the legit Wild Hunt. Yes.
So like there's like the ghost horses and like
Yes.
one of my favorite characters is the dead dude that that rides for the wild hunt because
Love it.
there's another guy Caldrus who is like one of the gods, And so he like, you know, keeps track of the wild hunt or whatever. And like him and the head wild hunt rider guy, they're like besties, but they're also kind of like Tamlin and Lucien in a way. Like they're besties, but they fight all the time. And like, so Caldress knows that like whenever what's his face gets on his nerves, he can literally just like behead him because he's just gonna come back to life
To
anyway.
life,
Just give
either
them
way.
5 minutes to like re-stitch himself together, like re-put his bones back on because
I
he's
love
like a
it.
skeleton. It's just
I like it.
fucking hilarious.
That's a really different. That's very different. And it's
Like,
the
like
first
you've
book is
met Mort, right? You've met Mort in Tog.
yeah,
He's like Mort, but like a full body Mort.
like a very surly. Yeah,
Like
that's
a
how.
very sarcastic, get on
Mort-
your nerves type skeleton
Right.
guy.
Yes, I like Mort so far. I don't know. I keep seeing like people hate him, but
I love Mort.
I like Mort. I think he's
But
really funny.
yeah, so if we have time, you should so read Will Eyes Beyond the Veil because
Really,
I would reread it with you actually because
really.
that is, I don't know if I've told you guys that, but that is the book that got me back into all of this. One book. It was one random fucking ad for this book
Yeah,
on my Instagram because my Instagram started as a poetry Instagram, which I told you guys.
yeah.
And I was like, you know, like I loved reading in elementary school and then like high school got super busy and then I got a job
Yes,
after that and everything and like I wasn't really reading much after high school, which I think happens to everyone. Like it
it
drops off
does.
and then, you know. So I
I
was
was
like,
back
oh, you
again.
know, I used to love like, you know, Magic Treehouse and Nancy Drew and you
Yes.
know,
Oh
the
my gosh,
Beacon
me too.
Street Girls and you know, Boxcar Children and Babysitter's
Yes.
Club and like all these little, you know, different books and I was like, you know, I'll try this fantasy book. I'll buy it on Amazon. I'll try it. If it's shit, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was fucking hooked. Like 3 chapters in, I was like, holy shit, it's gonna happen. I was like bringing it to work with me, bringing it to my parents' house. Like I could not go anywhere without this book in my hand because
Oh
I
my
needed
God.
to read it.
What year was that? Would you say?
20, 2021.
Yeah. So was that before or after ACOTAR when you
It
were
was
reading?
actually, I think it was like the tail end of 2021. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, did you read ACOTAR before or after though?
I read ACOTAR March of 2022.
Yeah. Okay. So it was right before. Yeah. Yes. You know what's so funny? And I think I've seen this a lot on Bookstagram and Book Talk is that
Yeah.
like I think that it's like our age or whatever you want to call it, like our generation. And
Yeah.
you hit the nail on the head. It's like you go through this progression of school. And like I loved read it's the same thing for me. I loved reading. I was
All the reading awards and
yes.
all of the, you know, the medals and the pizza parties and all this stuff.
Oh,
I got
have
writing awards in high school, and then it's just like
it's like school
burnout.
kind of kills that like that joy of reading because they're forcing you to read like these mathematics or whatever science texts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then we
Like
finally become
what's
adults and we
worse?
get to read what we want. And it's like it was such a freeing thing for me personally. But I just love it. I love that we all have a book that for me it was called Under the Oak Tree by Kim Suji. It was an ad on my Instagram. I don't know if you saw it. Oh my God. The one of the best, probably my favorite books of all time, along with ACOTAR. So it's like my top three, along with ACOTAR, and
Yeah.
now this is my top three. So
Ooh.
we'll have to go.
My top 3 right now would be Kingdom of the Wicked, What
Okay.
Lies Beyond the Veil, and From Blood and Ash, and then ACOTAR would be like a close
Oh,
fourth.
I'm surprised that ACOTAR is number 4 for you, and we need to talk about that. But
Writing and plot wise,
I
and
I
like
could see
character
that.
wise, yeah.
I could see that in some of the things that we have maybe missed. But well, I
Like
have to
ACOTAR is the
go.
best series to theorize and talk about.
Yes. And
That's
I
what it
wonder
is.
why that is.
It's just easy. It's easier, I
It
think.
really?
It
We
has
need
less because it has way less like world building, like deep world building, and way
yes.
less like heavy plot.
Yeah.
Whereas like FBAA, like they have like really like heavy world building,
Yes.
especially FBAA. Like I could not Like I've read all of them and I
Hey,
couldn't
Ryan, the gate's closed.
I've read all of
Sorry.
them and I couldn't even tell you the plot of each book. Like
Oh my gosh. I
so much.
actually really excited to read from Glen Ash, but okay, I gotta go.